Have you ever stopped to think about how far conspiracy theories can take us? Have you ever wondered if everything we believe about the world might be one big illusion? And what if I told you there's a plan, so sinister and well-crafted, that it could change everything we know? Today, we're diving into one of the most unsettling topics ever brought up. Project Bluebeam. A project that, if real, might be the key to the greatest global manipulation ever seen. Are you ready to question your beliefs and explore the boundaries between reality and fiction? Project Bluebeam is a controversial topic that has gained significant traction on social media, forums, and even in some of the darker corners of the internet. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. The data, claims, and theories fueling this idea. What you're about to hear today will challenge your most fundamental beliefs. Are you ready? After the intro, we'll start with a more detailed explanation of what these theories are all about. Welcome, I'm John Blackwood and you're watching Midnight Daily News, your channel dedicated to the unknown, the mysterious and the unexplained. Today, we'll be diving into a topic that might change the way you see the world. Project Bluebeam. A plan that, if real, could impact humanity in ways you never imagined. Before we begin, I want to make it clear that the content we're covering today in no way reflects the official beliefs or stance of Midnight Daily News. Our goal here is to provide you with an unbiased perspective on the subject so that you can draw your own conclusions. Just like I have mine, but it's a secret. Project Bluebeam was first exposed by Serge Monast, a Canadian journalist and conspiracy theorist, who claimed to have uncovered a secret plan involving the mass manipulation of religious faith and the creation of global catastrophic events. What Monast revealed goes far beyond any control theory. He suggested that global elites were preparing to stage a global event of apocalyptic proportions, which would be used to establish a new world order. This might sound like science fiction, but it's important to note that Monast, in his claims, referenced technologies and methodologies that have been in development for years. Doesn't that sound at least a little strange? So, let's take a closer look at how this project could work and what the evidence suggests. The origin of Project Bluebeam and Serge Monast. Project Bluebeam, in the words of Serge Monast, who in 1994 revealed his theory about what would be one of the largest and most secret global manipulation plans. According to Monast, this project would involve a series of steps that would culminate in the creation of a new global order. Here are the main phases of the plan. Destruction of traditional religious beliefs. Monast believed that, in order to control humanity, it would be necessary to destroy the authority of traditional religions, which still guide billions of people worldwide. The idea was to create a false supernatural manifestation by projecting holographic images of religious figures, such as Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, and even gods from other cultures. Imagine looking up at the sky and seeing a divine image projected as an ultra-realistic hologram. How would you react? And what if millions of people around the world saw the same thing? Monast believed that, to control humanity, it would be necessary to shake traditional religions by creating false supernatural manifestations that would spark a global crisis of faith. Can you imagine the chaos? Conflicting religions, doubts spreading, and trust in the sacred being shattered. All of this could be the beginning of a new era of manipulation, where faith would become a tool of control. These false miracles would be used to promote the idea that a supernatural event is underway, causing people to doubt their beliefs and become open to the creation of a new global faith. Mental manipulation would be carried out through radio waves and microwaves, which could directly affect people's thoughts and emotions via a brain chip. In fact, I know someone like that. With this technology, rulers could induce hallucinations, fear, or even create the sensation of being abducted by extraterrestrials. This would be a powerful tool to generate panic and despair, preparing the population for the imposition of a new control system. With religions destroyed, social chaos in place, and the population psychologically manipulated, the final phase would be the imposition of a new global governance. A single global authority would take control and the rights and freedoms of individuals would be severely restricted. And here's the question: would humanity, so accustomed to fighting for freedom and autonomy, accept this peacefully? Or would we, in the end, be so desperate for order and security that we'd give up what we value most? It's terrifying to think that, amidst chaos, the promise of control could seem like the only way out. But at what cost? Well, let's continue. The technologies involved in Project Bluebeam. The technologies mentioned by Monast to carry out this project are not science fiction. In 1994, he was already talking about holography that could create three-dimensional images so perfect that they would be indistinguishable from reality. Today, these technologies exist and are even more advanced. The use of 3D holograms, like those we see in science fiction movies, can create scenes so real in the sky that they could convince even the most skeptical. So it's true, one thing we can guarantee: this is already possible. In addition, technologies like HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, have been in operation for decades. This military program was initially developed to study the ionosphere, but many theorists claim that it could be used to manipulate the weather, control human minds, and even generate natural disasters. Radio and microwave frequencies are another important tool in this project. They can be used to send signals directly to the human brain, manipulating emotions, thoughts, and even inducing delusions. With this, the masses could be easily controlled without even knowing they're being influenced. Well, again, the idea of a chip as a receiver is starting to make sense. So far we've only discussed two technologies that are no longer fiction. The role of secret organizations. For Project Bluebeam to be implemented, Monast believed that secret organizations, such as the Illuminati, Freemasonry, and other global elites would need to be involved. According to him, these entities would be coordinating efforts to manipulate the population and establish a new world order, where governments would lose their sovereignty and be subordinated to a central global government. But it's not just politicians and billionaires who could be behind this. Artists, celebrities, and influential figures from pop culture are also often pointed out as key players in this power game. After all, who better to shape opinions and control narratives than those who already have the power to influence millions? These elites, whether political, financial, or cultural, operate in the shadows, controlling information and resources that would be crucial for implementing such an ambitious project. Meanwhile, the global population remains distracted, consuming entertainment and news that may be serving a much larger purpose than we realize. Testimonies and alleged revelations from insiders. Over the years, several insiders have claimed that Project Bluebeam is not just a theory, but a real plan in progress. Former NASA and CIA agents have revealed in interviews that there are secret documents proving the existence of large-scale manipulation. According to them, technologies such as ultra-realistic holograms and radio waves capable of influencing the human mind have been in development for decades. These informants argue that the project is far more advanced than Monast could have imagined. But, of course, if you ask the government, they'll tell you it's all conspiracy theory. After all, who hasn't heard a politician or spokesperson say there is no concrete evidence, while, conveniently, the most important documents remain classified as top secret? It's almost as if they're saying, "Trust us, we're not doing anything wrong, but we're also not going to show you anything that proves it." But jokes aside, if even a fraction of what they say is true, it's enough to leave anyone stunned. After all, we're talking about technologies that could redefine what we understand as reality. And let's face it, if there's one thing movies and TV shows have taught us, it's that when someone says it's just a theory, that's exactly when we need to pay closer attention. The connection with UFO sightings. Now we've reached a crucial point, the connection between Project Bluebeam and UFO sightings. In recent years, particularly in the last few months, UFO sighting reports have skyrocketed, especially in the United States. Thousands of civilians, military personnel, and even commercial pilots have reported encounters with unidentified flying objects, some labeled as drones, many of which exhibit characteristics that cannot be explained by the technologies we know today. And we're not talking about Starlink satellites. Those have already convinced us of their explanation. The increase in UFO sightings is undoubtedly an intriguing phenomenon, but what's even more disturbing is that these events are occurring at crucial moments, almost as if they were orchestrated to create a sense of alien invasion. In recent months, the US government has declassified several reports on UFOs, and even the Pentagon has acknowledged the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena, with no convincing explanation for what they truly are. Doesn't this sound like some kind of preparation? Now, imagine the impact of a fake extraterrestrial invasion staged with advanced holograms in the sky. It would be much more terrifying than a divine image, let's be honest. Well, unless you're someone with many sins, then maybe the first option might actually be worse. Remember the famous 1938 episode when Orson Welles broadcasted War of the Worlds on the radio? The narrative was so realistic that thousands of people panicked, thinking the Earth was actually being invaded by Martians. Now, imagine this on a global scale, with ultra-realistic holograms projected in the sky, combined with broadcasts on every media platform and a population already conditioned to believe anything that appears on their phone screen. It would be total chaos. Recently, in an incident in the United States, a series of strange lights were spotted by thousands of people in various cities. Did you witness any of these lights? Comment here and let us know. Before we continue, if you're finding this content interesting, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like and comment below about what you think of the Blue Beam project. Your participation is crucial for us to keep bringing these unsettling topics. Now, let's proceed. The global impact of Project Blue Beam. The global impact of the Blue Beam project could be immeasurable. If the mass manipulation plan is real, the consequences for society would be catastrophic. The first and most immediate change would be the disintegration of social, political, and religious structures. Faith in institutions and figures of authority would be completely undermined. The collective panic generated by a fake alien invasion or a global religious crisis could lead to a revolution, a worldwide civil war, or even the collapse of social order. This sounds like an apocalyptic movie script. The manipulation of religion would be the primary tool to create even greater divisions among people, separating friends, families, and communities. We can already see this happening over much less through politics, can't we? The loss of faith in what is sacred and the creation of a new global religion, governed by those in power, could lead to the submission of the masses. Global rulers would become the saviors, controlling everything from resources to information, leading humanity to a future without privacy or freedom. The imposition of a new world order would become inevitable and everyone would be forced to submit to this regime or face the consequences. However, the idea of a globally orchestrated plan to manipulate the masses still lacks definitive proof. Right? Many believe that the recent declassification of government documents on UFOs and the increase in unexplained sightings could be signs that something is happening. If Project Blue Beam is real, then we are only starting to see the first signs of a great control being imposed on the global population. The near future will be crucial in determining whether these theories come to fruition. But what about you? What do you think of all this? Are we on the brink of a massive manipulation, or are we just victims of our own imagination? If Project Blue Beam is real, we are on the verge of being led into a new era of global control and manipulation. What will happen? Do the elites really have the power to create a new world order, as Serge Monast suggests, or will it just be another unfounded conspiracy theory? Maybe the scene of Madonna crucified on a giant globe is starting to make sense. I'm John Blackwood. This has been today's Midnight Daily News. I wish you a night of deep reflection on what was discussed. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment for more videos like this. Good night, and remember, the truth may be much darker than you imagine.